All right, so looks like we're going live right now, guys. 8:55 p.m. Australian, what is it? Eastern Daylight Saving Time, whatever they call it. We're live. We're talking fishing tonight. So welcome to the stream. Obviously, I'm not gonna give everyone a chance to catch up. I think there's a bit of a delay right now, so my other monitor's not showing the stream going on just yet. All right, there we go. Let me get rid of that other other earphone. All right, excellent. So it looks like everything's in order right now. All right, so we've got a bunch of people in the chat so far. So I've um I've worked on the sound quality for today's stream, so it should be a little bit better. So yeah, just ignore that. The mic on my headset. We're not using that. We're using something else. So all right, okay, let's go through some of the messages first of all. So we can see, well, I can see Trong Nguyen, g'day mate. So let's go through the list. Tiger, Galvin, how's it going? Jackie, Zhang, Kazia Bay, Corliss Moth 45, how's it all going? Um, we also have in the house RFV, Rom, how's it going? Chopper Dog 543. Hope you guys have been all well tonight. Hope you've had a good week. It's looking like a pretty bad weekend for fishing, so I promise you guys that I'll be coming back online, back live with another show. Because last time, yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to do just yet. I still don't have the right idea in where I want to take this, but I know that everyone is a fishing nut. So chatting fishing, that's my cup of tea as well. So anytime you guys want to talk, we can chop it up. Every couple of weekends, we can definitely do this. So yeah, yeah. Let's see who else is in the house tonight. So yeah, so it looks like there's quite a few people. I can't keep all the messages. So Ned, Pervolik, how's it going? Jun Kim's also here. Knock fam, hi Shroom, it's Sunny West Aircons. Ah yes, I got a message from you the other day, I think. Yeah, thanks for that on Instagram. Yeah, I think I might have given you some advice or something. I can't quite remember. There's been so much support, guys. Thank you for all the messages on Insta. If I haven't got back to it, just keep waiting because I go through spurts where I go through a bunch of them. And as you guys know, I try my best to get back to all you guys. Mazlock says, let's go for a fish. Yeah, one day I'm going to organize another sub meet, sub fish. And we definitely do that on the cards, definitely on the cards. Jonathan says, hey mate, g'day. Warren, how's it going? How you been? So yeah, thanks for your support. Dave Hafer, how's it going? Yes, I recognize some familiar faces here. Edward says, have you ever eaten cat food? Yeah, good question. No, not well, possibly inadvertently, but not intentionally. Infamous FPV is also here. How's it going, guys? And yeah, all right. So let's get started now. So guys, it seems like most of you guys are subscribers, so you know who I am. But for those of you that don't know, I'm Shroom. So you can subscribe, support the channel, like the video, share, comment, all that stuff. If you guys want to support me, you can also become a club member now with that join button. Just click on that, check that out. That might be for you. You can also support the channel with a super chat. Anyway, that's all out of the way. Let's get down to some questions, guys. Do you have any questions for me? So this week, I put up a video on catching bream, or I guess fishing at night, really, and heading into the winter, you're gonna find that a lot of the times you're gonna be fishing into the low light hours of the day, particularly at night. So I thought, it's something I do pretty much every year. I go out chasing bream, flathead, sometimes other species, but it seems like there's at least along the waterway, there's not many people that fish outside of the very lit harbour wharves. But I can definitely tell you that there's a lot of real estate out there that you can explore with just a few different modifications to your technique. So the main thing about fishing at night is you got to get out there, give it a go, and then test out what works and what doesn't. Over the years, I guess I found that lures do work extremely well at night. I find the better quality of of fish is out and about exploring, and it makes sense during the day. Let's say you're chasing a large brim during the day. That's much harder. You definitely got to chase them in the morning or deep in snags and structure, but they can't really approach bait being that big. So I find that under the cover of darkness, that's when they do most of their work. All right, so let's get back to some questions. So yeah, just a bit of flavor for the stream. Just I guess we can loosely have the topic of fishing at night with lures as the general concept of the stream tonight. If you guys have any questions on that, or you guys have any ideas that you want to discuss, we can chop it up. So yeah, just leave your messages down in the comment section. And yeah, if I don't get to your question, just keep putting it in, because sometimes I accidentally miss a few, especially if the chat's moving quickly. So let me get back to the top here. So, all right. So Jackie Zhang says, "Is Brighton a good place to fish?" Yeah, no reason why it can't be. Why it wouldn't be? It's plenty of beach area there. There's plenty of brim, whiting, blackfish. You get the odd. I guess you get the odd pelagic go by, like kingfish in the summer months as well, especially off the groins. I find the groins are pretty productive at times. Okay, let's keep going. Warren says, "Keep up the great content." Yeah, thank you very much. Ned Pavlik says, "What's your PB brim?" Well, yeah, I've got a video coming up, and yes, this is a PB brim, but I don't want to ruin it just yet. But for the moment, my PB brim is at 40, I think 42 or 43 centimeters, and that's off bait. I caught that in the harbor off a live squid. Now, if it comes down to, well, if you want to know what my lure PBs are, soft plastic and hard body are both tied at 40 centimeters. I've caught just the one 40 centimeter on hard body on the atomic, what's it called? Yeah, the atomic deep diving chubby 38 millimeter in Ghost Gill Brown. That was one of my videos in the past month, so you can go check that out, check that one out. I was really surprised when I caught that. I didn't think that it was gonna hit 40 until it started not wanting to come in. That's generally how it works. So pretty much all the big brims seem to want to slug it out. They run straight and hard, and then there's like moments where they're trying to shake you off, like pretty crazy, and then it's another pretty straight run. All the big brim, I'd say all the ones which are like high 30s and up, they seem to do that characteristic, fight pattern. The smaller brims seem to have a lot of like, kicking around, flapping around, and head shakes all at the same time, and not in these kinds of very defined stages. Uh, yes, and also for my PB on soft plastic, I think I've caught 3 or 4 on 40, so I haven't been able to break that until recently. So yeah, keep an eye out for that video. That's gonna be a cracker, I guarantee it, and it's gonna shock you how big it is. I can't wait to edit that video. So that's definitely coming up. All right, on to the next comment. Tiger Galvin says, "Have you tried K-Tech Easy Shiner?" No, I haven't tried the K-Techs. They seem a bit, well, back then when I was looking into different varieties of lures, K-Tech seemed to be a little bit on the pricey end, and like a lure that I would probably only use for, say, if I was chasing Jews, or something that's a little bit harder to get, and I needed that extra bit of difference with what everyone else is using. But yeah, I'm not sure which one's the Easy Shiner. Is that the I think I was looking into the what they call the fat swing impact, like the 4 and the 5 inch for Jews at some stage. Yeah, so I think maybe the Easy Shiner. I'm not sure which shape that one is, but I definitely have looked into them. Okay, next comment. Kid Fisher, what film and editing platform do I use? I'm using the GoPro 5 Hero Black, and I edit using Sony Vegas. I think any program and any camera is as good as the next, as long as you end up learning how to use the functions that you require. Paul Evans Lee says, any advice on catching kingies in Botany Bay? I guess learn how to catch live bait. That's the secret if you want to learn how to catch kingies. The bait is probably, I'd say, most of the work. Especially if you can learn how to catch squid. Squid is probably the number one inshore bait live. A kingfish most times can't resist that. Either, yeah, I guess like even if your rig is not perfect, as long as the knots hold and the hooks don't straighten, as long as your gear is perfect and fine, they can't resist squid really. Live yakkers work well as well. I like using the smaller yakkers inshore, so I've caught some nice kings off that as well. But I always feel like with live squid, anything could happen at any stage. All right, Infamous FPV asks, "Hey mate, name your top five lures for flatties." If I was targeting flathead, I'd probably go gulp, jerk shad in nuclear chicken. I guess any of the jerk shads, I'd go that first. I feel like the gulps have an unfair advantage. They seem like they just seem to produce anything you want, whether they're dead sticked or whether they're worked like an artificial. Fish can't seem to resist that, so I'd say number one would be gulp, but I'd go the gulp 5-inch jerk shad in nuclear chicken as the number one. Number two, if I go out of that gulp ecosystem, I'll probably go something like a squidgy fish in silver fox. I think I caught my PB flathead. Well, I've caught two above 80 on those lures, so I can't knock them. They work. Everyone knows about those lures from squidgy. The formula can be a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes they're a bit soft, sometimes a bit hard, sometimes the tails look a bit, crooked, or the colors are a bit different. This one's darker than the next. There's too much glitter in this one than compared to the next pack. But no one can deny that they don't work extremely well. So that would be my number two. And I'll just give you one more. So number three, I'd probably go a vibe. 100 mil vibe. I find between all three, you got a jerk shad, you got a paddle tail, and then you've got a lure that you can work a bit slower with a lot more action, vibration, like a 100 mil, like say 95 mil Jackal Trans Am, 100 mil Samaki Vibalicious. What else? Samaki, Spaniard Sniper, I think they call them. Spaniard Sniper. They work. I mean, all the vibes work. I like the soft-bodied vibes. All right, let's keep going. So yeah, James Clean says, "Hey man, what's up, man? Yeah, not much. Just spending the night talking fishing. So yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the show. Let's keep going." Ned Pavlik says, "Love your content, mate. Thank you very much." Warren says, "Don't forget to smash the like." Yes, that's right, guys. If you want to support this channel, hit that like button. Smash it as hard as you can. Tiger Galvin says, "Do you do much surface fishing?" I do a little bit of surface fishing. I like chasing whiting on surface and bream on surface. So in the summer months, definitely one of the more enjoyable ways to fish. It's a very visual way. I like, yeah, I actually did a video on surface fishing for whiting, but yeah, it was pretty hard to film, so I think it kind of flopped, but there is one on my channel somewhere. Finn Conway says, "Tips for kingies." Yeah, so I just addressed the question similar to that. So yeah, learn to get live squid or yakkers. Yakkers is very easy, and squid, yeah, just watch the channel. There's plenty of videos on what you can do and areas to hit and techniques and squid jigs that I like. You can't go wrong. Just have a look there. James Clean, my question: are you fishing tomorrow? McMahon 620. Okay, no, I won't be fishing tomorrow. I think tomorrow the weather's crazy. But yeah, I'm busy actually. I'm just busy. So at this moment, not able to fish. Ned Pavlik, what's your PB Bream? Actually, I think that might have been a repeat question. Let me just keep scrolling down. All right, guys, I'm just going to go a bit further down, see where we're at. Okay, now I've just seem to have lost. So what do you guys think about the sound quality this on this stream. I've changed the mic. I'm not using the headset mic this time. I'm hoping it sounds more natural. So let me know if you guys are noticing a difference here. I think it might just improve, the experience that little bit. Okay, now it seems like I'm really far behind. All right, let me just jump across some questions. Okay, so Edward says, "Can you do a how to catch squid?" Yeah, I think I haven't really made too many videos on a how to do this, how to do that, or a tutorial or a guide. I think I'm gonna do a few more of those ones. Like the last video on Thursday that I posted up yesterday night. That was a bit of a how to. So I think I might do a few more of that, but waiting for that stream. Okay, looks like I just cut out for a moment, but I should be back. All right, looks like we're all here. Okay, so yeah, let's keep going down. Procure garlic, is that something you use or S Factor? I've used Procure. It definitely works. I just like using S Factor, that's all. There's nothing wrong with the Procure range. I've tried them. They smell pretty strong. I think that I haven't seen, like, I've had friends fish side by side with me using Procure in the white tubes, I think it is. Nothing wrong with that. I think it works just as well. Jack Lemsing says, "Best fishing spot in Sydney." The best fishing spot in Sydney is the one that's nearby and that you can fish with everything, all the knowledge that you've acquired over the years. Just like some of those spots that I fish, a lot of my videos, there's spots that a lot of people don't hit, but because I live close by or because I frequent them, I've learned over the years how to best extract the fish from a place that people don't think is possible. All right, let's keep going down. Novo says, "Shroom, you should go Silverwater Bridge. Many big brim." Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely give that a go one of these days. Coolest Moth 45 says, "I was fishing the other day and hooked onto something massive, but it had so much power it snapped the line. The next day I threw a line with a bait out again, I assume, and got smoked again." Yeah, spewing. I wonder what that was. You definitely have to go back and give it another go. All right, now before I continue the questions, there was a subscriber. There was a comment from a subscriber on the channel that I wanted to answer before we continued, and I want everyone's help here with this question as well. It comes from Christopher David Lunn, and he asked, "I have never used the soft plastic. I fish at the entrance. Any tips? Recommendations? I fish light because I am disabled." Now, he says he's disabled, so I assume that he's not able physically to move spot to spot. So I want you guys, if you got any ideas, to put it down in the chat and help this gentleman out. But so far, to answer his question, I would say what you can do, Christopher, is first of all, fish lures that have an inbuilt action that require not much input from yourself to be able to elicit the appropriate response from the fish. So paddle tails would be what I would be using if it comes down to soft plastics or wriggler tails. In terms of lure actions, I think you should be able to manage a slow lift, which is basically just letting the lure hit the bottom and then taking about 1 or 2 seconds to lift the rod tip up and then gradually wind your way down to keep in contact. You can fish that as slow as you want. Plenty of good fish can be caught using that technique. A second technique that you can use is burn and kill. So what that involves is once you've cast out your lure, you can give the handle, 3 to 4, 5 quick winds and then pause. What that's going to do is that's going to make the lure shoot across the bottom for about 1 meter or 2 and then gradually come back to the bottom. And the last thing, obviously, you could do, you could treat it like a hard body. You can just basically just slow roll it. Slow roll action really does work. I have friends that have caught plenty of good fish using the slow roll. I don't use it all that often, but I know people that use it specifically, for example, to chase Jews on plastics in the daytime. Slow roll. Very highly underestimated technique. In terms of gear, I think maybe you can use a slower action rod because that's more forgiving, especially if you can't physically maneuver, around where the fish is fighting. If you have a softer action rod, it's gonna do more of the cushioning for you. And when it comes down to reels, choose one with a higher retrieve ratio as well. Just less winding on your part to get the lure to do what you want it to do and to basically get the lure back and recast. When it comes to spots, I think you're going to obviously need to fish channels or wharves, something that's easy access. But that also means that these areas are where either the bait can aggregate or pass through, such as a channel. So wharves are bait aggregating areas. So it's a matter of a waiting game. If you fish channels, you can catch pretty much anything throughout a channel because the fish that are passing through and the conditions are always in flux. So you're always in with a chance. And from even from our past live stream, I said, if you wanted to chase, for example, Jewfish, a channel is one of the better places to do it at because you're pretty much guaranteed that they're going to pass through on the tide change. And so you just have to have a lure in the water at that time. All right. Let's just get back to the chat for a second here. So yeah, Christopher, I hope that answers your question. Don't be afraid to ask more. I'll be happy to answer it again. Whatever you need. Okay, now. Oh yes, there was another person that I was supposed to answer a question. Yuhang asked me, can I ask how you decide whether to use soft plastics or hard bodies on each session? I can think of factors like wind, hard body for windy versus soft plastic for calm days, species to target, flathead may respond better to soft plastic, I suppose, and depth of strike zone. Soft plastic with heavier jig heads can get down to deeper water. Am I on the right track about this, or is there anything else I should take into account? Cheers. Yes, I briefly answered that question, but this is a very big question. I'll definitely have said in my past videos that I like to use hard bodies when I know that I can't fish very finesse with the light plastics on the 1/16th ounce jig heads chasing brim. But I guess wind is always a little bit, it can be a catch-22. A bit of wind is great. I find the fish come on the bite. They're less spooky. They're closer to the edges to where we can cast off land. But when the wind gets too strong, especially if it's coming from an unfavorable angle, such as from the side, which is probably the worst, coming from the side, then you can't keep in contact with your plastic because every time you try to, the weight of the line drags the lure unnaturally through the water. That's when I find hard bodies outperforms plastics on conditions alone. A second factor is I take into account the mood of the fish on the day because you can tell within the first maybe 10-15 minutes whether the hits that you're getting are going to result in a hookup from the plastic being swallowed down its gob, or whether they're really just playing around with it and nipping at the tail. If it's a case of the latter case, then a hard body is perfect because you've got a treble right at the end. One little nip would mean the difference between a fish or no fish, as what would happen if you're using plastic. So that's another consideration. When it comes to depth of strike zone, I find that unless you're really fishing a period when the fish are really shut down in the daytime, then you don't necessarily need to be right on the bottom. The hard bodies do get down pretty far, especially if you're casting off the bank. Unless you're fishing off a really deep headland, then using light jig heads and light gear is not, it's probably not preferable. Using a heavier rod and heavier gears is the more appropriate course of action there. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so yeah, hope that answers your question, you hang. All right, let's get back to the chat here. All right, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? All right, so a bunch of questions. Let me see if I can catch up here. I came back. Coolest moth. I came back the other day with heavier line, landed a stonker, 39 centimeter brim. Yes, definitely a stonker there. Master Fishing says, "What's your favorite fish to eat?" Um, I like to eat rainbow trout and silver perch. So I don't often keep the fish that I eat. I haven't actually kept any of the rainbow trout or silver perch that I've caught yet though. So I just get them from the market. Novo says, Shroom, you should go to Silverwater Bridge, many big brim. Oh, yeah, I think I've just read that earlier. I'm trying to get a 40 cent. Ned Pavlik says, I'm trying to get a 40 centimeter brim so bad. Any tips? Look, I can tell you that if you keep trying, it's a matter of grinding through numbers. In Sydney, it's very tough to find a spot that's going to harbor big brim unless you're fishing Cockle Bay or I'd say what's that other spot that I got at the back of my mind here? So Cockle Bay and the fish markets. Everyone knows there are massive, massive brim in there. So if there are any 50s, that's where they'd be. Um, I've got 40 centimeter brim multiple times. I think four or five, possibly even more. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but they've been pretty much anywhere at any spot. It's just a matter of getting lucky and fishing very finesse. And I find that if you can do that consistently, you're definitely going to catch um, a big brim one of these days. Also, this is a great time right now, pre-spawn, or maybe they're starting to move off to spawn as the weather gets colder. This last period, the brim are going to feed very hard. They're very fat, and they're getting ready to breed. So, like I said, I mentioned before that I caught a PV brim, which I'm going to post up that video, in the coming weeks. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. And that came during this period as well. So I think last year or a few years ago, I caught, I think one or two 40s around this time as well. So good time to be out there on the river, day or night. All right, let's keep going. So RFVIVG says, what lures do you recommend for Jewfish? I recommend soft plastics, paddle tail lures. My favorite is the squidgy fish in 80 mil in Silver Fox, closely followed by, I'd say, any of the Z-Mans in the 3 or the 4 inch. Haven't found the perfect color yet that I think outperforms the rest, but any of the natural ones or the brown colors, anything with sparkles as well. I like lures that have sparkle. I feel like it makes it look less fake and is more lively. That's just a belief of mine. All right, let's keep going here. So Z says, "Ah, yeah, made it. How's it going, Shrew? Yes, good, good, good to see you tonight, Z. Yes, I'm going great tonight. All right, let's keep going. So, guys, I'm just gonna skip some messages. Post them up again if I've missed your question. Ned Pavlik says, I heard cuttlefish are better than squid for kings. Do you agree? I personally haven't used enough cuttlefish to know, but yeah, that is definitely a common belief. Oscar Wells asks, do you fish for drummer? No, I haven't fished for drummer. Knox says, I have practices, but only have ever landed two undersize. So I think that might be about brim. Yeah, just keep trying, mate. That's all I can say. Big or small, it's almost the same. Nova, Shroom, you should go to Silverwater Bridge, made a big brim, caught a 45 centimeter brim there. Yep, on the cards. Got a 64 on a Z-Man grub in Bloodworm, says Kid Fisho. Oscar Wells, have you fished in Brisbane waters? I can't remember. I've been up that way. I may actually have fished Brisbane waters for Flathead. Okay, let's keep going. So Z says, hey Shroom, I placed an order for the Z-Man watermelon color. These brim ain't getting away next weekend. Ah, yeah, definitely not. Hell no, they're not getting away from Z-Man watermelon red. So I did put a little bit of a joke in my last video. Yeah, leave some packs on the rack for me, guys. No, I'm kidding, guys. If you see any, make sure you grab them. I find that most places overstock watermelon, not watermelon, they overstock motor oil because of its reputation. But, you know, what's wrong with watermelon red? Watermelon red catches pretty much half the fish on this channel, at least in the past 2 months. Can't go wrong. Like I said, for some reason, it seems to be, it's just caught so many fish that it's just become my go-to. And again, this lure's got red sparkles, and you guys know what I think about lures that have sparkles. Just makes it look more lively. I find motor oil is great too. Of course, you can't knock motor oil. It's UV, it's UV active, but yeah, it doesn't have those sparkles, does it? Just just a different option if you can't get motor oil. All right, on to the next. Nox says, Shroom, you need a partner for this live chat. Well, yeah, I've been thinking about how to do these live streams. So far, I'm okay juggling the conversation, but I think one of these days I'm gonna get AKA Mike's Fishing on. I think he was interested. He was keen when I last mentioned this to him. Haven't been in contact. I've been extremely busy with a few things. But yeah, I think yeah, he might be my first guest on here. So, but the problem is it's not going to be easy unless I use this program to stream. So yeah, I've been playing around with some other programs to see if I can make it like look a little bit more professional. But so far, this has been okay putting the chat on, sharing half the screen with my cam. All right, Enter Dragon says, any chance in the near future you can do another video with AKA Mike? The answer to that is yes. He's been asking me to come up every couple of weeks, so I'm gonna be coming up one of these days, going up to the entrance, or if he comes back down, yeah, no, there'd be no problem. If I'm available, we'll definitely hit it again. We're both keen, we're both fishing nuts, we both enjoyed each other's company, both dying to get back out on the river, and yeah, and produce some good videos for you guys. But yeah, that's definitely a guarantee that it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when. Hopefully, very, very soon. Anton says, hey, Pete, how are you? I'm good, mate. Cold weather is coming. What's your target on cold weather? Look, when the weather changes, the species do change. You get more blackfish. And in the last maybe 3 years, you're still getting kings, which is weird, right? So I would say that my focus is probably going to change towards kings if I can get them in the winter. I think maybe 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. Everyone considered them a summer species. These days, it almost doesn't even matter what the season is. I feel like the colder the season, the more likely you're gonna be able to spot them in the water and where they're busting up. Salmon is another target. This year, I'm gonna see if I can run into some salmon schools, land-based. Trevally, that's another good species. I think I had a few videos targeting them at the end of winter or the start of spring on the channel off just off Botany Bay, inside Botany Bay, but just off the beach area on the groins. I'm going to be doing more of that. Okay, next, let's keep going. Sweet, let's keep going. I saw Mike yesterday. Looks way different in real life. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. He kind of looks the same as he does on video. He's a big guy. Let's keep going. Oliver Parents asks, do you have any tips for paddle tail lure fishing at Botany? Well, first of all, it doesn't matter where you're fishing, whether it's the Botany system or the Sydney Harbour system. It's going to be the same. I would say that learn to double hop them if you can. You don't okay, so first of all, the actions that I recommend with paddle tail lures, there's probably like two that you have great input in, which is slow lift, that being the first, and second being a double hop or double lift. With a slow lift, everyone gets that right. It's just how much line slack they have at the end of the retrieve that might determine whether they're going to detect the bite instantly from when they cease imparting the action, or whether they're going to pick up the feel again a second later because of their line management. When it comes to the double lift, some you got to pay attention to which way the current's going as well. I find that if the current's coming at a sideways direction and you got a really long paddle tail and you flick it too hard, then it's going to be really unnatural, and you got to slow it down. Another way you could cater to that would be to angle it slightly to the side, so you're not completely perpendicular to the water. So if the current's flowing this way, whoops, I don't want to do that. Current's going this way, and your lure is there, and you hop it like that, it's gonna be, it's gonna be doing something weird. Especially after about 3 hops, it's gonna be behind you on the side. It's unnatural. Some fish will hit it, Jews won't hit it. So you probably want to just angle it, from the direction that the water's coming from, the current. And so by the time you get to where you are at your feet, it's largely still in front of you. So that is, you can influence that with the speed at which you hop it. Too fast, and, you're going to encounter problems. Like I said, it's not going to look natural. That's not what you want. So you got to slow that down just that tad. All right, so what's all this? Let's put that up. Okay, so got some. I guess there's nothing wrong with that comment there. Fish with a fan competition. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that just yet, given the current situation. But look, I'm definitely going to organize another group fish one of these days. Okay, let's keep going here. Let me see if I can find a good question. All right, so I think I've answered a bunch of these ones. Okay. Novo asks, knot or swivel for tying main. All right, just lost that. Main line to leader. All right, so if you're tying braid to leader, fluorocarbon or mono, which could be, if you're bait fishing, I think that's okay if you trust the strength on the braid to swivel side. Personally, I don't do that. I'd still tie a knot. I basically tie a leader knot to some fluorocarbon, and then I tie the fluorocarbon to a swivel if I'm bait fishing. If I'm lure fishing, then the swivel is not even a part of my dictionary, because you're talking about really faint taps, and you're talking about visually watching your line. If you put something that weighs about a gram or two, that's a dampener. So it acts as a dampener effect on your bite detection. So that's why I don't use a swivel when it comes to lure fishing. But for bait fishing, I think that's fine. It can manage your line twist. And, you can tie it off and tie paternoster that way if you want like another line coming off that too. All right, so let's keep going here. All right, so just scanning through the questions, guys. So what do you reckon I should use tomorrow? Botany, soft plastic grub, or paddle tail? I find that if the weather is a bit harsh, a paddle tail is probably better, because paddle tail lures sink a little bit faster than the grub. So what that means is you're gonna have a bit more weight of pulling the line through the water. I don't know if that's enough to counteract the wind completely, but that's some my thought process as well. Especially if when I fish for bream, I'm using 1/16 ounce jig heads, right? You'll notice, yeah, guys, you'll notice I barely step that up to 1/12 ounce or 1/8. It's always pretty much glued on 1/16 ounce. I don't have any lighter jig heads, but I'll probably go lighter too. But the Z-Mans are too buoyant for 132 ounce. So I basically just use 1/16. With the buoyancy effect of the Z-Mans, it kind of makes it seem a bit lighter as well when the fish pick it up. So it's a matter of what the fish thinks and feels when it picks up the lure. I find if it's light, they hold on to it a fraction longer. It feels more natural. When it's heavy, they drop it quickly. But when it comes to like windy conditions, just to answer your question, paddle tail lures, I use the slim swims in I think what's it called, 2.5 or 3 inch, the Z-Man ones, the slim swims, paddle tails over the grubs when it's windier. The grubs sink a bit slower, So it's harder to visually spot what's going on. They both work, of course, but you're likely to set the hook on a paddle tail, in my opinion. Well, at least for me anyway. I'm likely to see something happening with a sinking paddle tail if it's extremely windy. All right, let's keep going here. Dean's Roniatis. Sorry, I butchered your name, Dean. Loving your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Okay, let's keep going. Nova says, I just started using poppers and metals to cook my first tailor. Yes, good stuff there. Sweet Bowie, Quan, James, should I? Okay, all right, that's not directed at me. All right, let's look for some Shroom ones. So Shroom, Michael Jeremy, how's it going, brother? Says Shroom fishing Bream in the colder water temperature, say now compared to warmer weather of last month. Is there any difference in technique? I hear in cold temperatures they are much deeper. All right, good question. That's like the flavor of this stream. So technique wise, I tone it down. I tone it down one notch. Not as erratic, not as many hops. Increase the frequency and the period of the pauses. Give them time to think about the food. Look, if they're cold and they're lethargic, they're not moving as fast. Everything's happening a lot slower. So you give them more time to think about it. Even if they are hungry and you're moving the lure a bit too fast, they're going to ignore it because the energy they spend chasing that lure down that's darting up 3 meters off the bottom, they're not gonna take that. It's the trade off as well. So it's kind of like flathead, how they say always use big baits if you want to catch big flathead. A flathead's not gonna break its camouflage point if it's been sitting there for like 3 hours waiting for a big mullet and a tiny shrimp goes across its face. It's not gonna react to that. The energy trade off isn't worth it. Same thing when it comes to cold weather fishing. I think that it plays a huge role. You definitely need to tone down your technique, slow everything down, give them time, make it seem more enticing. The energy they spend for that quick morsel, that quick bite, is definitely more rewarding than the small amount of energy they spend to chase that down. Um, the brim definitely do go much deeper in the colder months. I believe the water's warmer the deeper you go down. Especially, yeah, the air temperature gets really cold, and also when they start to move towards their breeding grounds and towards the mouth of rivers. That's generally deeper areas as well. So I'd say, yeah, definitely in general, they're not hunting along the shoreline as often. All right, let's keep going. So, all right, so top three trevally. Okay, so well, I can't really give top three trevally lures. Everyone says to use bigger lures than the ones that I use. I just get all of them on bycatch using grubs. I find they like grubs and slim swims and um, small squidgy prawn lures. They like small gulps, small flick baits. They like power baits. Just anything small that you would catch brim, but you have the potential to work them out a little bit faster through the deeper water. Don't really have, yeah, I guess I don't really have a top three. I can only give you recommendations there. All right, let's keep going. You guys know any? Okay, all right, that's probably not directed at me. Okay, let's keep going. Craig Kahuna says, "Do you ever target blackfish?" I think I'm gonna make some videos on targeting blackfish very shortly. Got some people that I fish with that they used to do it in the past, but they haven't done it for a few years, and I think it'd be good to just it would make an interesting video. Use a bit of weed, see how much what kind of scores we get, what kind of numbers. So when you target blackfish and you can get like a good burley trail going, you can really get a lot of them. I've only caught I've caught plenty on plastics. I can tell you that they really for some reason like to hit brown and green grub tail lures up a river. I find that that's how I target them, but I'm assuming you mean bait. So I'm definitely going to do one of those videos very shortly. Daniel Urisic says, "How's the exist going? How do you rate it?" The exist is going okay. I think it's faring better than my 15 exist. One issue that I did have with it is that the line roller got a little bit noisy from the get go. It didn't take many sessions before it started making a little bit of a noise, which generally means that either the line roller is seizing, or you've got some salt crystals, or a bit of particulate matter that has managed to wedge itself within the cover of the line roller. But aside from that, it still seems to be working pretty well. There's no corrosion on the magnesium body. Now, on the just at the base of the reel stem, there's like that triangular hole. It looks very nice, and I thought that that might have been like a place where salt might aggregate, but so far it's been okay. So there hasn't been any sign of corrosion on the body as of yet, because as you guys know, that's been one of the big changes of the exist. They went back to the magnesium body, which I do like. I definitely do like that. That's more like the freshwater Stella magnesium bodied reel. Feels really nice. It feels more substantial in the hand. Yeah, and that's an improvement over Xeon, I'd say. Definitely the 15 did feel a bit cheap, but it did last. I felt like the 15 exists got a little bit grindy towards the end there, but yeah, not too bad. Not too bad considering that it's a finesse reel, and I hook plenty of like bycatch that it shouldn't be handling, such as like salmon or kings or whatever. And that, a 1,000, 2,000 size light reel like that is not supposed to be pulling in fish like that season after season. All right, let's keep going down. Okay, let's see what's the next good question here. What's the next one? All right, now I definitely, guys, I definitely have to get better at following how the chat's going. I'm just getting overwhelmed by these questions. So yeah, bear with me, guys. Yeah, and if you guys are enjoying the show, you like my content, and you're new here, subscribe. Of course, subscribe. You can always support me that way. Yeah, but watching my videos is good support too. If you want to support me in other ways, I've got that membership program. Just click on the join button. Have a look at that if that's for you. You can also support me with a super chat. Up to you. Anyway, let's continue. Um, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Amir says, "What has to be your favorite fish in the estuary?" Starts with M, ends in Mulloway. All right. Um, Next, let's keep going. Midi says, "Hi Shroom, do you have any sponsors, or have you ever been sponsored?" Yes, I did a sponsored video for SPF lures. I think that was good, but I guess it's a little bit paranoid. I didn't want to like betray you guys or feel like I was selling you guys out. I didn't know how to deal with that at that time. That was my first experience, but yes, that'd be my first and only um, sponsored material on this channel as of this moment. Okay, let's keep going. So, Daiwa Real Clicker is you. Okay. Next, Vaz 1984. When did you first start fishing, or why? I started fishing from, I guess, when I was a young child. Fished for Bream off the Georges River with bait. Had a hand line, tied pretty much anything that I found, whether from my dad's tackle box or off the ground, discarded hooks and sinkers and floats. Craziest contraption. I think all I caught were either tiny bream or catfish. So yeah, that's basically my start to fishing in life. Yeah, I got started because my dad loved fishing, and I love fishing, so I continued. Pretty much from high school. I think about year 9 and up, kind of started to, yeah, find some people, find some friends that like to fish, and yeah, away we went. Okay, let's check this out. So Knock Fam says Daiwa Clicker isn't as loud as Shimano. I'm so upset. I bought a BG and a Legalis, and Clicker is half the Shimano. Maybe cheap range. LOL. Your exist is so much louder, and that's music. Yeah, I think it's not the loudness. Okay, yeah. So the loudness of the real, I don't think it's dependent upon the price. It's just how it's designed and how the parts mesh together. So in the Daiwa reel, they've got they've got on the shaft like a really thin piece of metal. It's like a ring like that, and it basically goes along a ridged surface inside underneath the spool, and so that's how the drag sound occurs. In the Shimano, it's like a clip. It's like a really small like hook kind of clip. And wait, I can't try to wait. Let me just confirm with Estella here. So I definitely know it's a clip. I just can't remember what's on the other side. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys can see that in there. So right under there, there's that clip. And that basically goes along this black part here, which is ridged. So that's how the Shimanos work. I guess that's why the sounds, they're unique across the reels. So it depends upon, yeah, it just depends upon the reel you buy, the material of the spool, the position of the, the part that's supposed to come into contact with the spool. All right, let's just get that out of the way. Matt MM says, really love that you're fishing places we can all fish in Sydney. Thanks, Shroom. I appreciate that comment. Yeah, definitely. I just fish in all the regular places. Pretty much down the road from everyone, where everyone lives. All the popular spots that people walk by. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, next comment. Where is it coming from? So the next comment is coming from Michael Jerriman. He says, cheers, mate. I think that was probably directed at my previous comments. He says, gonna run into you one day on the Parrot, I'm sure. Yes, you guys will definitely find me out on the river. It's not hard. If you're out there, you'll definitely find me at some stage. Definitely come up and say hi. Sam17 says, hey bro, love the vids. Thank you very much, Sam. Let's keep going here. So James Klein, Max Drag, different ones spooled up. Okay, that's probably not directed at me. Novo says Daiwa vs Shimano. Look guys, just take your pick. I did put up a Daiwa or Shimano poll on the community tab, and right out of the gate, it was something like 60% Daiwa, 40% Shimano, something like that. And like, okay, that doesn't add to 100%, but there was like a few percent of Abgassi or other types of brands. But slowly but surely, by the end of the poll, it was like 60% Shimano, and then 40% of subscribers preferred Daiwa. So yeah, it's getting pretty tight in the Daiwa vs Shimano sweepstakes here. In fact, it's serious business, isn't it, Novo? Because in my Weeper video, a couple of us were having arguments on Daiwa vs Shimano. It was like a pretty funny segment that I had in my Weeper video. So if you guys want to check that out, when you click on my channel, it's that video that's playing, that 1 hour video. Towards the end, there is a little section where there's a bit of a tiff between two of the members on the trip over their allegiances to their brands. It was very interesting and very enlightening to just sit back and watch. Luke Vladko says, best lure for Bream at night. Best lure, the Z-Man. I think, the Z-Man Slim Swims. Probably Watermelon Red, I'd say. Yeah, Watermelon Red. I do like Bloodworm as well. So Watermelon Red, Bloodworm in the grubs or the Slim Swims. But right now I'm liking the Slim Swims. For whatever reason, it seems to be working. It's got that quicker action through the water. All right, let's keep going. Aiden, if there was anything you knew before you started fishing, what would it be? Oh, okay. How to tie a leader knot, because I lost so many good fish when I first transitioned into lure fishing that it just wasn't funny. That is why I use the FG knot, guys, because every knot that I tried to learn to tie, it just failed me. And basically from the moment that I started lure fishing, I transitioned to chasing Jewfish very quickly because some of my mates were doing it, and I lost so many times that they said, "Oh, you're gonna get your first here," and then boom, busted off right away after a massive run. I lost so many of that. I just kept upgrading my gear, but I never upgraded my knots. It was only after a while that I realized that no, hang on, this knot's a problem. And so I went from double uni to Slim Beauty to some Japanese version of the Slim Beauty that I saw on Plat, and then finally to an FG. And the FG did me extremely well. From then, I've not had any issues. So I would say if there's anything, a good knot is what I was missing. I wish I knew how to tie a good knot because it probably was worth half a year worth of pain losing good fish. Midi asks, could you do some more Cook's River fishing? Yes, certainly. I'll be doing more of that. Um, let's keep going here. So, what fish species is on your bucket list to catch? All right, guys. Now, before I answer this question, if you guys got anything that you want to ask me, yeah, go ahead. Anything about tips and techniques, or fishing for brim at night or fishing at night in general, because that's that's the theme of tonight's talk. Also, if you guys have any ideas on how I can improve the stream, besides obviously bringing on like another guest, I'm happy to consider it and I'm happy to do that. I did think about maybe like getting some people to submit pictures of their catches during the week or during the month, and give a little story, and then they can get their 5 minutes of time on the stream, or whatever. I think that's something that's fun and easy to do. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas, definitely let me know. Now, getting back to the question, I want to catch I actually want to catch a longtail. I lost a good longtail in Weeper, and yeah, I was distraught at that time. We were catching longtails. We were chasing the bus stops. We were just basically flying from bus stop to bus stop every time they were coming up, and they were smashing these schools of bait, which I can't remember what they were. There was some kind of fish that looked like yakkers. Um, we were hooking up, but the one chance that I got. So the problem was that my knots. Yeah, here's the story again. My knot failed. My FG failed, but only on heavy gear. So let me just qualify what I said before. It failed only on that one trip. I don't know, for whatever reason. It was a braid that I wasn't accustomed to. It was at a line class that I'm not comfortable with. It was on my Catalina with the Saltiga rod. We were really casting really heavy metals and lures, really, with heavy gear that I'm not that familiar with. And I did encounter some problems there. And the one time that I did hook up to a longtail, I fought it for, I can't remember how long now. It's probably like 10 minutes, and it got me. Ended up losing it. I was distraught because I got to see the fish as well. Got to see the fish. It was right by when you first hook up, if you go really hard, the fish comes in close, just like a kingfish. Same thing. You get to see it, but then once it realizes that you're packing some heat, Catalina on a Saltiga, of course it's gonna go 100%, 110%. After that, just never saw the fish again. Yeah. One day, guys. One day. That's one fish species. It's only a long tail, but this one would mean a lot. It would have been years of pain. I can put that, put a closure to that story. Um, in Sydney, I'd like to. Well, I guess you could catch him in Sydney, but let's just say like I'm probably gonna catch that up the coast if I was to catch a long tail, not right here in Sydney. I'd like to catch yeah, another fish I'd like to catch would be John Dory. I think I mentioned that in the last video as well. So, gotta come up with an idea, come up with a plan, choose a good spot, choose a good harbour wharf, get some yakkers, maybe slow them down by trimming their tails or something, something like that, and see how we go. I think I might be doing that at some stage in the summer months. Ron Hasagawa asks, bucket list location to fish. Well, now that I've been to Weeper, I do want to go back, but this time I want to head south. I ended up heading up north and then going back into Weeper Harbour and spending the last couple of days there. We never went south on my first trip up there. So I do want to go back. That's still on the bucket list. I'd like to also go to um uh, what's it called, Exmouth in WA. So everyone's read about it. I want to go there, see what it's all about. Looks like a really good, just another destination just like Weipa in Australia. I think Australia's got plenty of good destinations. They're the top two. I guess they're a bit touristy. Well, in terms of like fishermen, some of the more popular spots, but yeah, probably number one. I want to go back to Weipa. A lot of the boys want to go back because we felt like we've got some unfinished business up that end. And then yeah, maybe Exmouth would be spot number two. But I guess like yeah, I'm still thinking about that long tail, aren't I? It's causing me to lose it a little bit here. All right, okay, next. Let's get over that. Um, Aiden says, haha, solid work, bro. Love your vids. Thank you, Aiden. Thanks a lot. Luke Vladko, best hard body for Flathead. I guess the Daiwa double clutch in the medium size. I think 95 mil it is. They're really good. All right, let's keep going. Shroom says, Novo says, Shroom, you have to admit Daiwa greater than Shimano. Well, I'll leave that, I'll leave that debate an open-ended discussion. I like both gear. You guys know that. I use both gear here. I might have a preference in my heart. I don't know if anyone knows, but I like both gear. And I'm just gonna leave it at that before we descend into a bar fight here. Okay, let's keep going. Azakin Gaming, how's it going? And he says you can improve the stream by catching carp from Para River and eating it raw, fresh out of the water. All right, how much will you pay me to do that? Because it's gonna take a lot of money for me to do something like that. I don't think I'd do that. Yeah, nah, I think that's a bit much for me. All right, let's keep going. Michael says, hey, Shroom, got some white and some navy blue grubs. Can you catch stuff off those colors? Yes, of course you can. I think white is just one of the more natural colors. There's nothing wrong with white. Navy blue. I don't use blue grubs, but I can't see why they wouldn't work. I've caught fish on, pink grubs, for example. That seems a little bit more far-fetched as a color. And Bream still do take lures that are pink. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, there's no reason why they wouldn't work. I think white might be a better choice out of the two colors there, though. Especially like downstream. Downstream, white is a fantastic color. Upriver, I wouldn't, white still works, but downriver, towards the mouth, white is, there's nothing wrong with white. In fact, that's probably one of the better colors. Enter the Dragon. Shroom, are you making any money on YouTube? Yeah, barely any money. Ad revenue. And you guys know I don't put ads in the middle of videos either, so I doubt I'm not making very much here. Definitely, yeah, definitely not enough money. But I'm not on this to make money. Like I made videos before. Like I said, I made videos of what did I start making videos of? Skateboarding. That was the first thing I made on Facebook. I even made a wedding video at some stage. I just like making videos, and then I did some game videos which I put up on YouTube, and then I realized, hey, look, I do so much fishing and I see so much on the river. Why don't I just produce a few fishing videos? Yeah, and that's how I started. Okay, let's keep going. Midi, when you go for Bream and you use 1/16th jig head, don't you think that it doesn't cast far enough sometimes? Every time. Look, it doesn't matter if you're casting 5 meters or 50 meters. You always feel like I can get that extra few meters. There's more fish out there than there is right where my lure dropped. But I know compared to a lot of my friends when I fish with them side by side. Now, I don't want to brag, but I feel like I've got a strong arm. But I definitely get a few meters on them most of the time. Most people I fish with, I get a few extra meters, and I don't think that I catch all that, all that much more than the person next to me. So I don't think it really matters. In fact, you want to be working the areas close to shore, but I don't want to cast right into the areas right on the shore because, first of all, you don't get to work the lure, and second of all, they have to hit it right away. And if you drop it on top of their head, you're probably going to spook them. So what you do is you put it behind. So that's why you get a fire cast out, and then you work your way in. That's just not going to spook them. It's going to be a lot more natural. I think that you're always going to feel like you don't cast far enough with 1/16 ounce jig heads, but even if you're going 80% with a cast, it's more than far enough. Putting in 80% effort or 90% effort in the cast versus 110% effort, you're only getting a few extra meters from when you're casting at 90%. I think if you want to get more distance, get a longer rod. 7'6". I've been thinking about getting a 7'6" for some types of fishing instead of my regular 7-foot rods, and maybe dropping the poundage of the braid because all braids aren't equal. If you get a thinner braid and in particular a smoother braid, you can get a lot more distance. Out of all the braids that I've used, the one that I'm using now, I would say isn't necessarily a great casting braid in Sunline Castaway PE 0.6 at 10 pound. IGFA rated, so it says 10, but it's 0.6, just like the rest of these other braids. It's pretty rough. It's not super smooth. It's like an 8 out of 10 smoothness or a 9 out of 10 smoothness. If you get something like Ghost and Casting 8 or OH Dragon, what is it? YGK? Yeah, YGK OH Dragon. That's probably the smoothest braid that I've ever used. In fact, it's so smooth that you kind of get scared that it's not going to hold up. So, smoother braid in conjunction with a longer rod will definitely see a huge improvement in casting distance if you think that you're not casting far enough, in case that was a problem. Alright, Faz 1984 says 1/16 cast fine on small, reel, and 6-pound braid. Yes, that's true. I might say a little bit more about that, but I'll just finish this comment. So as long as it's not windy or wind is behind you. Yeah, okay, so you can get more distance if the reel matches the rod. So what I mean by that is I'm not talking about the weight of the reel versus the weight of the rod. You have to look at the position of the stripper guide. I see rods which have small stripper guides and it's low against the rod, and that definitely indicates that it needs a smaller reel. Otherwise, the angle between the rest of the line going through the guides and the reel, the bail arm, is too great that it greatly reduces its distance. If the stripper guide is larger, which is what's happening to a lot more of for example, the Daiwa rods these days, they have massive stripper guides on the light range. They seem to they seem to take 2,500 reels instead of 1,000 or 2,000 more readily, and so the angle through the guides is much better. But if you weren't going to determine the compatibility and the casting distance in that way, in general, a larger spool diameter reel is going to have a better casting performance than a smaller reel, just on that alone. Because the tighter you wind the line along the spool, there's just more friction of it leaving the spool when you cast. And the line speed. You can achieve greater line speeds if the spool diameter is larger. I don't know if that's makes sense or anything, but these are just everything that I think. I don't know if I've ever read anything about this anywhere. I know that guide distance and guide foot lengths and whatever is a thing, but yeah, that's what I think at the moment. And yeah, that's I've noticed that on some of the rods now they're starting to get larger guide foots especially in the dial range. I don't have a Shimano rod right now, so I can't say, but I know with my current Daiwa Battler and the Gecko AGS, they have pretty small stripper guides, and I have put 2,500 reels on them, and they don't. Well, I guess the bait was okay, but definitely on the Gecko, there's something going wrong. If I cast really hard, you're probably going to end up with a massive tangle if you go 100, you go full tilt and just haul it. All right, let's keep going. Um, Vaz1984 says I use 1/12 90% of the time. Yeah, it's a good weight. I use that when I chase trout because, especially when I go TCD, because a lot of it is really deep water, and I still want to use 2.5, 3 inch lure presentations, but 1/16 ounce seems a bit light for the depth that we're dealing with there. So 1/12, great. Also for bass, if you want to just like switch it up a bit for bass using the same kinds of lures, they take all the Bream lures, so I still use 1/12. Sometimes 1/8 for bass, but 1/12 is a good in the middle weight. Okay, Griffco says, you know what's incredible, Shroom? Check out the breaming in Japan. Some absolute stonkers. Yes, I think, yes, Griffco, I think I'm subscribed to you. William Davis. So how's it going? Yeah, shout out to William Davis there. So if you guys are interested, he does a few fishing videos. He's currently setting up his boat, so you might want to check out his wares. There was I forgot the name. I had a subscriber from Japan that was commenting every video, up until probably the last several videos, and I forgot the name of the fish that he referred to the Bream as. So yeah, I was aware of the Bream. They look very similar, but I did not know that they grew that big. I forgot the name. Yeah, I just forgot the name of the fish, and they also have something that looks just like a flathead as well. It's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Oh, just lost my place in the chat. So guys, yes, hope you guys are enjoying the show. Looks like there's still some more questions, so yeah, I'm gonna keep going until you guys run out of questions. But yeah, if you're enjoying it and you're new here, subscribe. I'm Shroom. Support the channel, like the video. If you want, you can become a member. Obviously you don't. That's just optional, of course. Become a Shroom Club member. Click the join button. Have a look. I also have the feature enabled for a while now, the super chat system. You can support the channel through that way as well. All right, okay. Luke Vlaco says the squid are on in Sydney Harbour. You make a video. Well, in the months in autumn, the squid get big. That's all I gotta say. It's a good time to get massive calamari. Now, I haven't been keeping up with the reports, but they should still be about at this stage, I would say. But generally, month of April, May, June, you're getting the massive aircraft carriers. I need to, yeah. There's so much, guys. It's basically there's just so much I want to do, but being stuck behind. Well, these days, actually, I have gone out now. I've gone out at night. That's why, if you guys have seen my last couple of videos have been at night, I've been very responsible. Only going out at really bad hours, just trying to avoid the general population. Just doing my bit to stay safe. But yeah, I really should go and check out how the squidettes are going, because yeah, I would not mind a big squid right now. All right, let's keep going. Eddie M says, Shroom, what would you recommend to do when the bite gets tough? Have you tried different locations, but have found the bite extremely tough over the past few weeks? 2.5 grubs and slim swims are my go-to. I would say that I've only started fishing in the past couple of weeks, but the bite has been extremely good. I've not found the bite to be bad at all. In fact, I did mention that I got a PB Bream in amongst like some other really nice fish. I won't ruin it, obviously. I'm not going to say because the videos are coming up very shortly. But I would say that maybe you're just getting a bit unlucky and you just need to keep trying. There are definitely some quality fish out there, especially Bream right now. I'm still catching plenty of flathead, good size 40 to 50 centimeter flathead. But the Bream, they're in oversized mode right now. they should be breeding soon, right? But they're still around. So make the most of them while they're still here. I think, I think now if you go catch a brim, there's a good chance that it's going to be a massive one at this stage. Yeah, if you guys notice, I'm pausing because I don't want to ruin too many surprises with the videos coming up. But just get out there, chase some brim, use your 2.5 grubs, use your slim swims. Um, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. Just keep persisting, Eddie. I believe you can do it. I believe you're going to find success very shortly. Maybe, obviously, not during this weekend when it's this windy. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to be able to fool the bigger brim if you can't really control the lure. You have to be striking really quick and fast. And any tiny nudge, it could be a fish of a lifetime. All right, now I've said it. Okay. Knock fam says my mom caught a 78. What? 78 centimeter brim. It's shifting daughter. It was a okay. Oh, okay, all right, Flatty. Okay. I was about to say, guys, who believes that? 78 said, oh, look, no, 78 flathead. That is a great fish. I think one of my friends dropped a big flathead in the last 2 weeks as well. So it's a good time for them. I haven't caught a big flathead yet, so guys, no big flathead in the upcoming videos. But there's some big other things coming up. All right. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, we're getting to the end, aren't we? Are we? Okay. So let's keep going. So there's some chatter there about something else. Ron Hasagawa has another question. Thoughts on eating pelagic species of fish in the harbor? Alright, so I know where this question's going. So basically this is what happens, right? So the eating recommendations are to only consume fish in moderate portions, or like defined portions in grams from a particular species. The DPI recommends if it comes east of the harbour bridge. But as you know, that's just like, fish don't sit in one spot, especially pelagics. If you catch a kingfish up at Kissing Point, then that's west of the harbour bridge. So does that mean you can't consume that? Well, I don't know. I think these rules are very general, and I personally don't eat the fish, but I can't really see a problem with that if it's a pelagic like a kingfish that's gone up the river. Now, if it's gone up Alexandria Canal, or if it's gone up Homebush Bay, I'm probably, like, personally, if I was to eat a fish, I'd be a little more hesitant, just knowing the area. But then again, like everyone knows, the fish move around. How do you know the one that you caught east of the Harbour Bridge wasn't 5 minutes ago up Haslam's Creek in Homebush Bay? You don't know. If you catch, like, a flathead, okay, fair enough. It's probably been in that area and east of the Harbour Bridge for most of its life if it's caught near the coast. If it's, a kingfish or a salmon, well, they probably weren't there this morning or last night. They were probably somewhere else. All right, okay, so we're getting to the end here. No, there's still some more. Okay, you guys are definitely on. Got a lot of questions for me tonight, but yeah, that's good. That's excellent. So I promised one of the viewers, one of the subscribers, that I'll at least make it an hour long, because he says he listens to it on the way to work, and his work trip is at least an hour. So he doesn't listen to the radio; he listens to the stream. All right, so we smashed 1 hour. I can't remember how long the last stream was last week, or not last week, the previous stream, but I think it was about this time. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see what's coming up. What's the next question here? Let me scan through. All right. Yemen says, have you ever caught any monster cuttlefish land-based? No, I haven't caught a large cuttlefish land-based or off the boat. One day, might see what what they're all about. I keep hearing that they've got unlimited supply, an unlimited supply of ink. I'd like to see that. Would make an interesting video. All right, next. All right, so someone's got some jewies. So Nox says he's got some small jewies. So where were they talking about? Let's just suss that out. Okay, Lansvale. All right, so Chipping Norton. All right, okay. All right, so got sidetracked there. Enter the Dragon Shroom. Are we gonna have a meet and greet with all your subs? Yes. One day. Again, we're gonna do it again. When this is all safe, at the next subscriber, well, at the next sub goal, I'm gonna do another one. And going by how many people we had in the first one, it's gonna be crazy. I don't know if there's a spot in Sydney that can cater to everyone because that wharf was literally chockers. Um, I think I don't even know if I could bring a rod to to a meet and greet at this stage, but we'll see. We'll do something. We'll figure out something. We'll have some fun. Um, last the last sub meet, I basically was there just to have a talk with everyone. I did do a little bit of fishing. My friend Jason, he did most of the fishing for me because I told him that look, I can fish anytime, but this is the one time that some of these people are out here to have a chat to meet. So yeah, I'm definitely going to spend all my time with you guys. If when I organize the next one, you guys definitely will not be disappointed. All right, let's keep going. So Luke Vlaco, what braid should I get for my 2000 Daiwa Caldia? Well, first of all, let's get the specs right. 0.6 PE and what else? I guess it doesn't matter if you get 4-strand at this stage on the Daiwa Caldia. You could get 8-strand, but I think 4-strand's okay unless you can find a cheap 8-strand. Get something that ties strong knots. You want something reliable. And if you want like a brand suggestion, my favorite braid is probably the Ghost and 8 casting. I really like that one. But it's probably, that could be a bit too smooth though. Go with Sunline Castaway. That's what I'm using. So I guess I have to recommend what I'm using. Sunline Castaway. 0.6 PE. Extremely reliable because it's IGFA related. It won't break over 10, but you know that it's gonna, yeah, it's very consistent. Not gonna have line failures. When you catch Bream, you're really pushing the limits of your gear. So you're gonna want something that's ultra reliable when you catch that monster, which could happen right now. This is the time to chase them. Okay, next. Griffco says, good night, stream, great stream, great info, take it easy. Yes, you too, William. I'll catch you later, mate. Alright, let's keep going. Novo says, Shroom, I was so annoyed that I lost the big fish, which I think it was a huge tailor, because it got up to the surface very quick and started shaking hard, which snapped my line. I'm so annoyed. Can you tell me what it might be? Alright, so I was hoping that you would have seen its head if it came up to the surface to shake. If it was subsurface, it would be a tailor and less likely a flathead. So they're the two species that I'm tossing up between now, flathead or tailor. If it's shaking its head like a machine gun, like brrr, that's a tailor. Unless it's a massive one. I don't know how like a massive tailor would be. If its head was out of the water, which it sounds like it was, but you couldn't get a good look, that's more something a flathead would do. So when a flathead's head is when a flathead has its head up out of the water, it changes its angle of its head shake, and that's when it's like razor sharp teeth come in contact with the line, and that's when you're likely to shake it. So you'll notice on my channel, I haven't lost, well, like, all right, first of all, I got to touch wood here. So I haven't lost, that fish. I haven't lost that fish in that manner, because I always keep its head in the water. All right, there we go. Done. Knock on wood. Tailor, I think if it's under the water and shaking, and then it's coming back serrated, that would be the sign that it was a tailor. I guess you can only guess. It could have been a multitude of species, but they're my top two guesses. Okay, so Midi says, once you caught a 50 centimeter flatty in a video in the Parramatta River. Yes, probably more than once. Maybe one of the videos, I guess. There's probably a few of them out there. Hook and Cook says, hi, shout me out. Well, there you go, shouting you out. Evan says, is dead squid and yakka strips good for a Jewfish slider rig with a star sinker? Dead squid. Yes. Well, if you're gonna use a sliding rig or a regular rig, there's nothing wrong with using a dead bait. I guess. I mean, you want to basically with a slider rig, you want to deliver a live bait out far and keep it around that general area. I guess it doesn't matter if you use a dead bait and you do that as well. If it were me, I'd just cast it out with a simpler rig because you keep tension on the line and then you kind of like slide it down. So yeah, I guess if that's what you want to do, there's no reason why you wouldn't catch a dead. You wouldn't catch a Jewfish unless the bait was too high up in the water column. That is probably your main concern, the angle of the bait and how high it up is in the water column. I think you need it to be pretty much on the bottom. So basically for Jewfish, on the bottom, that's where you want the bait to be. Yemen says, what pound leader do you use chasing kings on bait normally? Um, I'd say 30 pound. 30 pounds good. 30, I think I pretty much start at 30, and if I see a reason to up the strength, if there's a lot of structure around, which means that I gotta put the hurt on the fish earlier without giving it space to run, then I'd step it as high as I think I need to step it up. Obviously, if we're talking about a rod in the for down rigging, then obviously 30 is not enough. You're gonna need like 100 or 150 or something. You never know what you're gonna get on a down rigger. Hook and cook. What scent do you use? I use S Factor. For parafishing, yes, for parafishing, for any kind of fishing, I use S Factor. Why? I just think it's the best one out there. I've used some other scents. The other scents work very well as well. I just personally, I've caught a lot of my fish on S Factor, and I believe in it. It gives me confidence. All right, let's keep going. What's this one? Let's just reveal that. There's nothing wrong with that. It was taken says yo. So yeah, hi, how's it going? Michael Jeremy says, mate, you're a blood legend. Well, thank you. Not a legend yet. Will never be a legend. Good on you for getting on here and giving your time answering all these questions from the people who follow you. Yes, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Michael. Definitely appreciate that love. Sam17. Oh, more love. Hey, bro, love your videos. Thank you very much. Also, Sam. Appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate everyone's comments. Keeps me going. Hook and Cook says, what's your favorite fish? In the estuary? Mulloway. Mulloway. That's my favorite fish. Oh, yeah. I guess I love Bream as well. I really like Bream and Kingfish. Those three, the trifecta. Mulloway, and then somewhere in the mix is Bream and Kingfish. They get the heart pumping. That's why. Okay, Sam17 says, I used to live near Salt Pans Creek. That place surprised me every time I caught a fish. Yeah, that place surprises me as well. Because when I go there, it doesn't always look good, right? It always looks like there's nothing there. But you never know until you cast in and you start working around the place and you get things to happen. The only thing that's a constant there is that you pretty much get one snag per fish. You pretty much lose the lure guaranteed every fish you catch. That's a good day. That's a good day out on the pan. Nova says the bridge walk. Probably talking about the previous question. Yes, so that's the bridge walk. But there's also a few. Wait, let me think. Yeah, so there's both places have the bridge walk, but normally they're talking about the upper bridge with the train station. Okay, what's this one? 717. You should go on Hook and Cook's boat charters. Yeah, maybe one day. Okay, next question. Eddie M. Shroom. Haha, damn. Usually fish the Hawkesbury Middle Harbour. Thanks, mate. Definitely gonna keep at it. Love your videos. Yeah, that's right. Keep trying. You're gonna get something good one of these days. What Cook says, what's your biggest brim? It's coming up in a future video. You will see very shortly. I won't ruin it. But it's above 52. 42. 42. No. Okay, 42. Sam17, my largest brim is 42 centimeters. How about you? Yep, that's the same. So I think mine's 42 as well on bait. I'll have to check. I think it was 42. Knock fam, Shroom. Wharf is too small for a meet up, but Ramsgate Beach is good. LOL, 100 fishing. That's something new for the residents. Yeah, we'll have to see. There could be a few people turning up. It won't be 100, but it'll definitely feel like 100. Yeah, that's gonna be a good day out though. Definitely. It's got to be a place that has plenty of space, but it's got to be a place that you guys are going to catch something. That's what that's what I'm looking for. Razor, what is your best eating fish in your opinion? I like eating rainbow trout and silver perch. I love it. Yeah, that's what I like. I haven't tried flathead yet. Gonna try that soon. Maybe if I ever do a catch and cook, it will be that. It will be my first taste of a flathead. I've never had Jewfish either, and I haven't had a brim in years. But I have kept a few kings, but not recently, not this year, not last year. Okay, let's keep going here. So, Midi, do you think one of the biggest brim was your second latest vid because that was a monster? Yeah, I think that was definitely at that time probably yeah probably there or thereabouts 40 41. I did have a like an idea how big it was because I didn't whip out the ruler, but when you put it against the rod, you know how far up that rod it goes. And when you go home, you can basically just compare and get an idea the range of what size that fish was. I think that was about 40 or 41, but I can't say so because I never actually measured it. So I'm going with 40 centimeter PB for lure and 42 for bait. Oh, excuse me, I don't know if you heard that. That was rather rude of me. That was the second time on the stream, so let's keep going. So Razor says, "What's a good bait for flathead?" Live mullet. If you can get live mullet, go for that. You'll catch plenty of flathead and the odd bycatch jewfish. Novo says, "Shroom, I couldn't really see its head as it was quite far away. All I could see was water splashing on the surface rapidly until it got snapped." Yeah, so out of the water, I would call flathead then, but I'm not too sure. It's hard to know. It's You're never gonna know. It's one of those ones. A big fish that got away. You're gonna have a good story to tell though. So that's one thing. But yeah, not a good feeling losing a great, massive, big fish. Elias says, "Oh, the flatties busting." Potentially. Justin, yeah, says, "What's your favorite soft plastic?" Oh no, guys, I seem to have forgotten what my favorite soft plastic is. I think I need some help here. All right, it's the Z-Man. Right now, it's the Z-Man Slim Swims in watermelon red. So I don't know why I tripped up on that color. That is the best. That's my favorite. I'll go fishing carrying nothing but that, and I'll still feel like I'm gonna slay some fish. It gives me that much confidence. All right, let's keep going. JL, for land-based soft plastic fishing, what's the highest wind speed that's tolerable? Okay, first of all, you're probably asking this question after consulting Willy Weather or Bureau of Meteorology. Let me tell you, they get it wrong every time. So it doesn't matter what the number is saying. It could say 5 to 10 knots, and when you get out there, it's blowing 40 to 50. You gotta factor in the direction of the wind as well. So if they're accurate, I'd say if it's gusting, you could probably tolerate to about 40. I think anything past 40 and you're really just pushing it. You're really just that desperate for a fish that you'd go out there, rain, hail, shine, earthquake, lightning storm. You're out there. So anything under 40, gusting, not constant, but gusting, you could probably work around by selecting spots that are sheltered. Pay attention to the direction of the wind. Pay attention to what they predict the wind swing will be, and you can still fish if it's behind you or if it's completely blocked. So tailwind is best, followed by headwind, I know people think, oh, headwind's the worst. No, side wind is by far the worst. Completely side wind is the worst. It doesn't matter if it's not that strong. It just takes out your ability to detect bites and work the lure properly. With a headwind, you'll significantly lose distance, but there are ways to get around it. In some of my videos, I basically lay the line on the water. That's how I get the headwind out of the equation. And in those videos, I still got plenty of brim. And you know, brim aren't easy to tempt. So tailwind, headwind, and then if it's slightly at an angle, cast at that angle that lets you bring the lure back naturally. And side wind, don't even go to those spots. Some spots are always windy, especially near the coast, especially out towards the mouth of the river. All right. Okay, now, all right, so let's keep going here. Raises, how did you get the name Shroom on your YouTube channel? Yeah, I won't go too in depth into this. I'm sure I'm gonna just keep getting asked this question every stream. So it's a bit of a play on my surname, and also it's it's a shortened version of One Up Shroom, which is like a name that I used when I used to play a bit of Mario Kart. And the green mushroom is the one that you chase and you fall with your doom to get the one up life. And so in a racing car game, well, I guess, well, Mario Kart's just a fun, you know, karting, whatever. It's not a serious game, but you're chasing me basically. I'm basically saying that I'm in the lead. You're following me to your peril, down the gap and losing a life. Okay, next, Evan. What rig do you use for Jewfish using dead or live bait? Also, how do you increase your chances? What are the main tips? Okay, so I actually don't chase Jewfish on bait. So I've only caught a handful on bait. Most of my experience with Jews has been on plastics. Plastics only, basically. 99% of all the Jews I catch have been on plastics in the daytime. A few when the sun's gone down and it's been completely dark, but it's been pretty much like midday, you know, hooking up to a Mulloway like that, using like a squidgy 80mm paddle tail fish in Silver Fox, or, you know, an equivalent one in the Z-Man range, or a Riptide mullet, or a Vibe, for example, like a Jackal Trans Am 95 in, you know, the purple color. Things like that. That's my experiences with it. Um, so yeah, I don't know the best advice I can give you, but I'll say that try to keep the bait along the bottom. If you're gonna fish for Jews with bait, stick to nights and do it, because your bait's gonna get picked apart, especially if it's dead squid. It's gonna get annihilated. A live squid might last a bit longer, but I still think like dead squid outperforms live squid because of the fact that it's on the bottom, and Jews can be a bit of a scavenger at times. They'll just move around harbour wharves outside of the lights. When it's quiet, they might, you know, foray in, see if they can get a quick bite. If they see a squid there, dead squid strip, they'll gladly wolf that down. All right, Flick with Mick Fishing. Hey Shroom, when we teeing up a session? How's it going, Mick? Hope you've been well. Well, yeah, definitely. I think maybe we can definitely tee up a session one of these days. Maybe when the situation improves. It's lots on my plate right now, but yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. Thomas Shin, you always seem to catch something every session on plastics. All right, that's a lie. That's not true. I guess. Oh, okay. Oh, that's true. You said seem. All right, I do seem to catch something every session because that's what I post. I'm not gonna waste your guys. I'm not gonna waste your time and post up a video of me like scratching about and getting one hit all day. No, I really want to give you guys something that you guys will enjoy watching, you know, in your spare time, and that's like hooking up something, getting excited over a fish, big or small. Yeah, that's how I've always marketed my channel. So entertainment basically. But it just seems like a lot of people like the tips that I put in the video, so I've started to include a bit more of that. But you'll see that I don't really have a how-to guide on many kinds of fishing in my channel. But like I answered a question earlier, and I said that I'm gonna be doing that a bit more. I'm gonna make a conscious effort once in a while to do something that's more like a how-to guide. The last few videos have been more in that kind of vein. Like that last one, that was like how to catch fish at night. The one on the Hardbodies, there were two that were basically showing you how to get started and what to use and what to do. You know, from casting it to actually hooking up. All right. How often do you get a donut session fishing plastics? Well, I guess pretty often. I don't want to say that I never get donuts. Everyone gets donuts. It depends how long you fish for. So if if I really want to catch a fish, I'll fish until I'm off that donut. But I guess some people, you know, they're happy fishing a couple of hours, and if they don't get anything, then they stop fishing. But I get my fair share of donuts. Believe me, I get my fair share, especially when you're chasing bigger fish. Peter Schneider says, "Hi mate," and he says, "Where are you?" I'm at home. This is just a green screen behind me, and if you want to know what this screen is, this is just a picture from my last trip up at Weeper, and this is just the top deck of the houseboat, where every night the boys would sit around the table. So that's me there in the samurai shirt. Wait, is that Terry? No, that's someone else. So I think Terry took this photo, and that's Joel on the side there. He was in the video before the last, so last Thursday's video, and we would just like sit down, discuss the events that unfolded during the day's sessions, because we'd go out morning, and then once in the afternoon as well. So like twice a day, and then fish at night off the boat, and then decide, you know, what's the next plan of attack the next day. So that's what this picture's all about, and it always brings back good memories because yeah, I like this picture. Okay, Thomas Shin would like to see you spin lures, jigs on rocks for pelagic, so you can cook up some of the tastier table fish. Yeah, look, I I am a beginner when it comes to fishing off like actual rocks. So rock fishing, I've got like literally zero experience with that. Maybe one day if someone will show me. I think I think some of the people that I fish with currently, they do go up and down the coast. I'll get started one of these days, and when I do, I'll try and do one of these catch and cooks, maybe off I don't know, whatever I catch off the rocks, I guess. If it's up far up north, hopefully something tasty. And yes, it is a possibility to answer your second comment there. So yeah, I'm hoping to try all kinds of fishing, and fishing off the rocks, I don't rule that out. It's just that I'm a beginner. I've not tried it before. I'm open to it though. All right, let's keep going. James Klein, he's back. Oh, welcome back. Shroom, what do you think about using large poppers like 150 millimeter in the harbor? Yeah, nothing wrong with using a large popper. Early mornings, areas where kings frequent, you'll hook up. If they're in the area, they'll hit it. So, yeah, so I don't, I haven't really done all that much in the mornings with poppers, but some of my friends have, including some of the ones in the picture behind me. So some of these guys, they do some of that. Um, let's keep going. What's this say? So, Razor, all right, man. I won't read that comment out. Um, Midi says, "What's your biggest kingfish?" My biggest one's in the 90s. I think it was like 90. What was it? I think it was like 93 or something, or 92. Live yakka, inshore. Okay, let's keep going. Michael Jeremy says, "How many times a week do you fish?" Well, I try to fish once a week. My happy medium is probably twice a week. But yeah, I'd say once to twice a week, once in the day and once at night. I hadn't been filming my night sessions though. Oh, just felt a bit of gas there. Um, yeah, I hadn't been filming at night, but I have always been fishing at night almost as often as during the day, just because of the time that I've got, just more free late at night. So I'd say about one to two times a week. But yeah, it really depends. let's keep going here. Next question here. Thomas Shin, I think you do awesome with stick bait and metal lures as well. Have you tried? Yeah, well, with metal lures, at least on the trip up to Weeper, those metal slices were slaying the fish. I don't know why. I never really liked metals. I always felt like it was you got to cast like 50 times to hook up to like a tailor. But up in Weeper, you could literally dead stick a metal and bring back like a reef fish. It was that crazy. Like literally cast out, drift in the boat, sit like this, and you'll get bites. You'll catch like spotted mackerel, reef fish. If you work them, you'll catch like longtails. If you actually spin them, yeah, you'll catch longtails and all that, and Spanish max and all that. But yeah, metal lures, I haven't really done all that much in Sydney, but up there they definitely slayed the fish. Yeah, now I want to go back. Ah. Novo says, Shroom, how do you use a slim swims? I'm quite new to soft plastics. Well, I like to give it like a bunch of little twitches and then quickly get the line slack back in because they drop very quickly, right? With the grubs, you don't have to wind in the slack as quick. You can kind of just like leave the slack hanging because it's a very predictable fall and you can still detect bites on a slack line. But with the slim swims, it's very, very quick. So if I was to show with my hands, it goes something like bang, 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 and like that, down. Maybe, let's just say for like, at an estimation, that's like 20 centimeters per second or 30 centimeters per second drop. But when it comes to the grubs, it's more like 5 to 10, maybe possibly 15 centimeters per second drop time or drop speed. So you don't have to be so quick. With the slim swims, a bunch of quick jerks and then quickly wind in the line. You want to get in contact with it as quickly as possible. All right, guys. So we're approaching the 2 hour mark. So I might stop on the 2 hour, if unless I ran out of questions before then. So if you guys got any last questions, yeah, definitely put them up. And yeah, guys, if you're new here, remember to subscribe. If you like what you're seeing tonight, if you're enjoying the show, I'm Shroom. Hit that subscribe button, like the video. If you want to support the stream, I've got the membership program. Become a Shroom Club member, which means that you just get, a bunch of perks. You click on the join button, you'll see, but you'll get a channel icon, you'll get emoticons to play with. Just a way to support the stream. Also, super chats available on my stream as well, if that's your thing. All right, let's get going. Last stretch. So, Thomas Shin says, what is your recommended jig head and plastic size for kingies? Look, if you're going to chase kingfish specifically, you're going to need bigger plastics. Depends where you're fishing. They take anything from Bream plastics all the way up to like 7, 8, 9-inch plastics. If you're off the boat and you're really just whipping around some lures, go the larger ones, the white plastics. The name of it escapes me now. It's like a... What is it like? It's like a long... name escapes me. But you guys know what I'm talking about. It's got no action. You just basically whip it really quickly. Get those in white. Can't go wrong. If you're inshore, let's say you're fishing off the land, then it depends the areas you're fishing. If you're fishing upriver, use small plastics. They're upriver chasing small bait. They're chasing like the jelly prawns, really small bait fish up a river. Use something that's small or clear, I'd say. Obviously, you're going to need a strong hook because that's not tailor-made for the job. But you'll definitely get the hook up. That's the thing. If you fish like this, you're going to get the hook up. Landing it is another issue. You'll see on my channel a few of the times that I've hooked up just casting Bream plastics because I knew what they were going to do. I knew what they were after. And yeah, so that's the only reason why I was able to hook them up. Now, landing them was a different story. I think one or two of those captures were like completely out of this world. I just could not believe that I was able to either untangle it from the snag or not get dusted and bring it in. You can also obviously use poppers like what James Klein recommended before. Well, what he was saying that he was going to use 150 millimeter poppers. You could do that. I'd say early morning. Keep that early morning. They're only going to hit like big things off the top early morning. What that, in my opinion, as a general rule, plastics any hour of the day if you see them swimming around, especially when they're hunting. Throw your lure in when they're actually switched on. So they'll be cruising. Suddenly they'll be busting up. That's when you need your plastic right in there, right then, moving in the right direction away from the school, and they'll hit it. All right, next. Shroom, what's your real name? My name is Peter. That's my name. Okay, Nox says mushroom. Oh, what's all this? Okay, so I've got some spam here. Yeah, so actually, let me just get rid of that. Okay. Yeah, guys, sorry about that. I should have been paying attention to the chat. I did not know it was getting so out of hand. Okay, let's keep going here. Let's get back on track for that last stretch. So 10 more minutes, guys. 9 more minutes. I'm gonna be on live for 9 more minutes, and then it might be a couple of weeks before I'm back. But yeah, hope you guys are enjoying the show. What's your favorite Bream and Flathead lure? Bream favorite one is the Z-Man Slim Swims in watermelon red, or the Grubs in watermelon red. Flathead, squidgy fish 80 millimeter in the silver fox color, the one that looks like a mullet. Enter the Dragon says Shroom did he okay, I can't remember, to be honest. I'll leave it at that. Good question. That would definitely sell the idea of another meet and greet. Mesa Al Modi, have you ever fished Pier 8 in Sydney Harbour? I haven't fished on it. I fished on a boat in front of it. So not actually on it. Just, the wharves in the area off the boat. Okay, now a bunch of spam here, so let's keep going. Someone had a bit to drink. Yeah, that's true. What's a cook? I believe that. He's had too much to drink. All right, well, we know it's a good stream when you're starting to get spam, right? Okay, let's keep going. Midi says, I'm 11 years old. My dad's a huge fisherman since he was 14. Last year, my dad took me fishing for kingfish. I ended up catching my first kingy at 75, the biggest fight ever. My arms. Look, that's a good effort. At 11, well done. You definitely got stronger with that effort. James Klein's got the right lure there, the Sluggo, that's right. Everyone knows about the Sluggo, right? Get those ones. Maybe like drop it down next to, if you're on a boat, say you drop it down next to the, what are they called? Wedding cakes, for example. Early morning, do that a couple of times. You never know. You're probably going to hook up and get dusted, but, got to give it a go. Okay, let's keep going here. So James Klein says the big popper creates a lot of sound. So if you have friends cast their slim swim sluggers around the big popper, there's a good chance for a hookup on both. Yeah, so with the kings, they're very inquisitive fish. You'll find that even if you're anchored on a boat, they're hiding under your boat sometimes. They're just having a look around. They may not hit your bait when you drop it down, but they're there. They're there having a bit of fun. I don't know why. Or maybe just to tease you. That's happened a few times. I think I've got one video very early on. I was with Dave, so I don't know if you guys remember Dave, but he's been one of my he's been one of the people that has been on my channel in the more distant past. I've got a few videos of him fishing in that kind of situation, and there was one situation where there was a rat king just right under the boat, wouldn't take anything. I throw a popper down, a brim popper in clear, one pop and straight away on, dusted. Got me around the mooring. Another occasion, which this one is on film, just dangled a yakker in front, and it took about 5 seconds for the fish to decide that, nah, that's it, I'm taking it. Bang, on, and if you hook up to a king that close, you got to get it in. You just lift the rod out of the water basically after like one powerful run. All right, 5 more minutes. All right, let's keep going. 5 more minutes of questions. Maddie says, really enjoying the Q&A, bro. Good stuff and appreciate the advice. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Evan says, Shroom, I have 3 packets of lures that I got part of a deal. 3 lure packets. Oh yeah, so yes, they do that. Isn't it like 3 for 25 or something like that at that big fishing store? Z-Man censored paddlers 4-inch. Yeah, good. Squidgy's flick bait cracked pepper. That's one of my favorite colors. Now, yeah, there is a lure that is a favorite of mine, but they don't make it anymore. So let me just put that away. Okay, all right. Now, as I was saying, the cracked pepper, Squidgy used to make a wild prawn with no action. I slayed so many brim on that lure, that color. That was like my favorite lure for a short period of time until they discontinued it. So great color there. And Squidgy's regular pink glitz, 4-inch. Are they any good and for what species? So, alright, so scented paddlers 4-inch. Jewfish. Squidgy flick bait cracked pepper 4-inch. Jewfish once again. Squidgy Wriggler pink glitz 4-inch. If you're offshore, go for snapper with pink. Okay. Oh, Kings take him too. Yeah, Kings take him too, but you might have to work him a bit fast. A deal from BCF and Anaconda. Okay, no. Okay, that's next. All right, so 3 more minutes, I think. Tom, seriously love your videos, mate. You're a great ambassador for all the Sydney fishers out there. Keep it up, dude. Yeah, thank you very much, Thomas. I really appreciate all the love. Guys, if you got any ideas on how I can improve the stream, obviously it's just a one-man operation here with I'm making it look like it's a bit more professional than it is, but it seriously isn't. But as long as you guys are enjoying the show, that's all that matters, right? It doesn't matter. You don't need the best things. You just need I think as long as you guys can hear very well, the sound is fantastic, then it's gonna be a good experience. But let me know. I did mention earlier in the stream that maybe one thing that I could easily do was to get some people to send in pictures of like the theme of the night. So tonight it was basically talking about fishing lures at night, in particular brim, and aspects of brim in Sydney. So I guess that made for a pretty good stream so far. But let's say that I was going to do that picture idea, then I'd get people. Well, if you guys want a shout out and you want to show your favorite catches relating to that topic, I can put them up. I think that wouldn't be too hard if I could just figure out a few things on how to do that. Yeah, let me know if you guys want something like that or any other ideas. Okay, so we've got 2 more minutes. What's to cook? What's your favorite brim rod, reel combo? What not do you use? So currently it's the G Loomis Edge rod. I think it's the Black Widow in high modulus, the HM blank, 6 to 8 pound, 7 foot, and it's got a cast rating of 1/8 ounce to 3/8 ounce. I use it for brim, and obviously with the Exist LT 2000 SP. Now previously, you go back 6 months and it was something different. It was the Battler Beowulf. The Battler Beowulf, 2 to 4 kilograms, 7 foot, the Gen 1. So the Gen 1 with the ribbed blank, I feel like they're just a bit more sensitive and a bit more fast action than the current ones. The current ones are great too. Can't knock on them, but definitely the Gen 1, the one that I've got, is extremely fast action and extremely crisp, and that bit more sensitive. Now they put a coating on the current ones. From what they call the V2, which was the camo grip, and then the V3, which was the same rod as the V2, I think in essence, except they changed the grip, but you can recognize it by the red ring around the foregrip, which on mine it's silver. Okay, last couple of questions. We've got a minute left. Maybe 3 more questions, guys, if we've got 3. Oh, what's all this? Let me just... Alright, guys, I'll tell you what I'll do. Next stream, we'll add at least 1 moderator here, so then they can keep control of the chat. Alright, 3 more questions. So let me pick out 3 good ones here. All right, let's keep going down. Master influence is definitely influencing the end of this stream. Not bad, good size. Yeah, that's it. I agree. Okay, Evan, let's help Evan out here because he asked about what to use lures for. Now he's asking what gram jig head and size for these soft plastics. I mentioned the 4-inch ones. Quarter ounce to, so you want to use yeah, you want to use quarter ounce to 3/8 ounce. But if you're fishing for snapper, go higher, of course, like half ounce to 5/8. But inshore, keep it between quarter to 3/8, depending on the depth that you're fishing. Okay, 2 more questions. Let's see. Oh, do we even have 2 more questions? This might be it. Enter the Dragon says, last question, Shroom, what nationality are you? Okay, I'm Chinese. Okay, last question, guys. Oh, there we go. We got one last question from Peter Schneider, and he says, "Do you like beer?" And yes, I do. I don't drink it very often, but yeah, I'm a social drinker. So if I go out for a night on the town with some mates, yeah, I might do a few rounds with some mates. Yeah, shout a few rounds, and yeah, I like my beer too. In Australia, of course, definitely. I like I like my beer. All right, guys. Thank you very much for spending the evening here on this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As again, I'm just gonna plug the channel. I'm Shroom. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you want to support me in other ways, you can always become a Shroom Club member. There's some perks listed. All you have to do is click on the join button, have a look through that. I might do a bit more on that. I might add another perk or 2 in the future, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. It's just the way that you guys, if you guys want to support, it's not compulsory. I don't expect it, but it's there because YouTube, YouTube enabled on my channel. So that's why I've got it. Also, they've also enabled Super Chat for like more than a year now. This is only the first time that I've mentioned it. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Hope you guys, yeah, as I always say, let me just quickly scan through the rest of this. Anything important? Okay, yeah. So I'll definitely read through the rest of these messages. And yeah, guys, thanks for your support as always. And I'll catch you in the next fishing video. Take care. Catch you later.